Have you ever felt lost, even when you're surrounded by a million paths? We live in an age of infinite choices, constant noise, and curated identities. We are told who we should be, what we should want, and how we should feel. But amidst all this external instruction, there's a fundamental question that remains. A question that countless philosophers and thinkers have grappled with for millennia. Who are you, really? This isn't just an idle thought. It's the most critical question you will ever ask yourself. Without a clear answer, you're simply navigating a labyrinth without a map. You're building a life on a foundation you haven't truly inspected. So, let's step away from the noise and begin a journey inward. A journey to understand not just what you do, but who you are. Why bother with this journey? Why not just keep moving forward, following the next trend or the next piece of advice? Because without self-knowledge, you are a ship without a rudder. It's easy to be tossed around by the currents of external expectations, chasing happiness that always feels just out of reach. True self-reflection is the act of claiming your inner compass. It's about understanding your core values, your deepest fears, your authentic desires. When you know yourself, decisions become clearer. You can differentiate your own voice from the chorus of others. You can build a life that is not just successful in the eyes of the world, but truly meaningful and fulfilling to you. This isn't about navel-gazing. It's about empowerment. It's the first and most crucial step in living a life of purpose. Our journey begins in ancient Greece, with a story about a man who knew he knew nothing. Socrates. Legend has it, the oracle at Delphi proclaimed that no man was wiser than Socrates. He was astounded. How could this be? Is that even possible? He set out to prove the oracle wrong by questioning everyone he met. Politicians, poets, craftsmen. He found that while they all claimed to know great things, their knowledge was often built on shaky ground. Socrates, by contrast, embraced his ignorance, recognizing that the truest form of wisdom is knowing how little you truly know. His famous motto, "Know thyself," wasn't just a suggestion. It was the foundation of all his philosophy. It's an invitation to constant, humble inquiry. Not to find a final answer, but to find the right questions. Think of it like this. If you wanted to build the perfect house, you wouldn't just start laying bricks. You'd first ask yourself, what do I need this house for? Who is it for? Where is the land unstable? Socrates taught us to apply that same rigorous honesty to ourselves. It's not about finding a list of personality traits. It's about questioning the very beliefs and assumptions that shape your reality. Let's fast forward a few centuries to the time of the Stoics. Philosophers like Seneca didn't just write about wisdom, they practiced it daily. Seneca had a ritual. Before he went to sleep each night, he would conduct an examination of conscience. He'd ask himself questions like, what did I do today that was wrong? What good did I do? What could I have done better? This wasn't about self-punishment, but about honest, dispassionate evaluation. It was a tool to build character, to correct mistakes, and to grow from the lessons of the day. The Stoics taught us that true growth is not a grand, singular event, but a constant, humble process of course correction. By looking in the mirror of our actions, we can see where we've strayed and where we've stayed true to our values. Consider this as well. Another Stoic, Marcus Aurelius, practiced the technique called negative visualization. He would spend time contemplating the loss of things he held dear. His loved ones, his possessions, his health. While this may sound morbid, its purpose was to prepare him for adversity and to help him appreciate what he had in the present moment. This kind of reflection forces us to face our fears and our attachments head on, making us more resilient and grateful. Now, let's turn to a more modern perspective with the great psychologist Carl Jung. Jung introduced the concept of the shadow. The shadow is the unconscious part of ourselves that we hide or deny. Our repressed desires, our deepest fears, and our less than flattering traits. We all have a shadow, and most of us spend our lives trying to keep it in the darkness. But Jung argued that true wholeness, a process he called individuation, requires us to confront and integrate our shadow. It's about accepting all parts of who you are, identical, not just the ones you like. This integration is a difficult but essential step. Only by bringing the shadow into the light can we truly understand our motives and become the master of our own psyche. Think of a time you reacted with irrational anger or jealousy. That impulse likely came from your shadow. By recognizing and acknowledging these dark impulses, we can begin to control them rather than being controlled by them. Jung's work gives us a psychological framework for the self-reflection that philosophers have advocated for centuries. So, how do we apply this ancient wisdom in our frantic, modern lives? The first step is to create a ritual. Just as Seneca did, set aside 10 to 15 minutes each day for quiet reflection. This is your sacred time, free from distractions. Next, try journaling. No, don't just write about your day. Use prompts. Ask yourself the Socratic questions. What belief do I hold that might be wrong? What am I avoiding right now? Or try the Stoic questions. Where was I not my best self today? This is not about judgment. It's about observation. Another powerful tool is mindfulness. Take a moment to simply observe your thoughts and emotions as they arise, without attaching a story to them. This gives you the space to see your shadow, to understand your true reactions, and to respond to life with intention, rather than just reacting to it. And here's a pro tip for your practice. Try the third-person perspective. When you write in your journal or reflect on your day, refer to yourself as he or she instead of I. This simple act creates a little bit of psychological distance, allowing you to analyze your own behavior with more objectivity. Like a wise philosopher observing a stranger. This journey of self-discovery is not a destination. It's a continuous process, a lifelong habit. There is no final answer to the question, who am I? Because you are constantly evolving. The goal isn't to find a fixed identity, but to build the muscle of self-awareness, to become comfortable with the ambiguity, and to find solace in the ongoing exploration. The world will continue to throw endless distractions at you, but with a strong inner compass, you will always be able to navigate back to your truth. Now, I want to hear from you. As we start this journey together, what is one specific challenge you face when it comes to self-reflection? Is it finding the time, dealing with difficult emotions, or simply not knowing where to start? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Remember, this is our shared journey. Your story isn't just for you. It's a part of our community's growth. If this video resonated with you, remember to subscribe and join our community of philosophers and seekers. Together, we can continue to explore the profound questions that shape our lives. And stay tuned for our next video, where we will explore the powerful Stoic practice of negative visualization in more detail.